This is Radio Nepal. I'm Kaushal Ghimire with the news, the headlines first. Government approves action plan designed for implementing bilateral labour agreement reached between Nepal and the United Kingdom. Deputy Prime Minister Naran Kaji Shrestha says no stones have been left unturned for rescue and relief of monsoon-induced disaster victims. Lawmakers stress formulation of laws for implementation of fundamental rights. And at least 41 people killed in a riot at a women's prison in Central American country, Honduras. Now the news in detail. The government has approved the action plan designed for implementing the bilateral labour agreement reached between Nepal and the United Kingdom. Unveiling the decisions of the recent cabinet meeting at a press conference yesterday, Communication Minister and Government spokesperson Rekha Sharma said the cabinet had approved to maintain the paid-up capital of the Citizen Investment Trust to 5.31 billion rupees. The cabinet also gave consent to send the latest report of the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, 1979, to the concerned committee. Likewise, responding to a journalist's question regarding the Indian film Adipurus, the Communication Minister clarified that there was no doubt Sita is the daughter of Nepal, and the movie got permission for release in Nepal only after the censor board removed the controversial dialogue. Deputy Prime Minister and Home Minister Naran Kaji Shrestha yesterday held discussion with stakeholders on government's priorities in terms of disaster response. The loss of human and physical property in the landslide and floods that occurred in Taplechung, Pachthar and Sangkhwasabha districts and the government's response were also discussed in the meeting. The minister informed that the government had intensified search, rescue and rehabilitation of victims. Similarly, the government had also ensured distribution of relief materials and treatment to the injured as well as the supply of food, clean drinking water and electricity. 13 people have died while 26 others have gone missing since the start of this monsoon season. At total, 41 houses have been completely destroyed, while 7 have suffered partial damages following the incessant rainfall. Lawmakers have demanded formulation of laws for implementation of fundamental rights, including right to employment, food security, and housing. During deliberations on the budget headings of Ministry of Youth and Sports, Ministry of Education, Science and Technology, Ministry of Law, Justice and Parliamentary Affairs, and Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development under the Appropriation Bill at the House of Representatives yesterday, the lawmakers stressed the need for fundamental rights as envisioned by the Constitution. An international aircraft landed for the first time at Pokhara International Airport yesterday since its operation started on the 1st of January this year. A direct chartered flight of the Sichuan Airlines from the Chengdu Tianfu International Airport in China landed at the Pokhara International Airport at 9 hours 6 minutes a.m. yesterday. That is 9 hours 6 minutes a.m. yesterday. The A391 Airbus of the Sichuan Airlines arrived Pokhara carrying a Nepali delegation led by National Assembly Chair Ganesh Prasad Timilsina, who returned home following the completion of China visit. Likewise, a squad of Chinese athletes also landed via the flight in course of taking part in the Nepal-China Friendship Dragon Boat Festival to take place in Pokhara starting from tomorrow, and it will also continue on Saturday at Phewa Lake. Gandaki Province Chief Prithviman Gurung, Chief Minister Surendra Raj Pandey, Federal Minister for Culture, Tourism and Civil Aviation Sudan Kirati, among others, were at airport to receive the passengers. Meanwhile, talking to journalists upon his arrival at the airport, National Assembly Chair Ganesh Prasad Timilsina said his visit to China was productive. Nepal's public debt liability has exceeded 2.17 trillion rupees. As per the statistics presented by the Public Debt Management Office, Nepal is obliged to pay its public debt amounting over 1.99 trillion rupees towards internal debt and over 1.73 trillion rupees towards external debt as of May 15 of the current fiscal year 2023-2024. The government has set a target of collecting additional 452.75 billion rupees of loan to meet the budget deficit for the upcoming fiscal year. Airfare have been decreased following the Nepal Oil Corporation's decision of reducing price of petroleum products. The Civil Aviation Authority of Nepal yesterday reduced the airfare. Australian Ambassador to Nepal, Felicity Vogt, paid a courtesy call on Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Defence, Purna Bahadur Khadka, at his office yesterday. During the meeting, Deputy Prime Minister Khadka thanked the Government of Australia for the support in providing vaccines and other assistance during the COVID-19 pandemic and expressed the confidence that the support would continue, including for the protection and safety of Nepali students in various academic institutes in Australia. The Defence Minister also pointed out the possibility of exchange of cooperation between the Nepali Army and the Australian Army, including various kinds of trainings and academic programs. On the occasion, Ambassador Vogt said the increasing number of Nepali community was contributing to the economic and cultural development of Australia and expressed the commitment to provide necessary support to the Nepali community and students in Australia. You're listening to Radio Nepal's 8 a.m. English News Bulletin. Time for a short break now.
भाउजू दर्शन
भाग्यमानी बाबु राम्ररी आइपुग्नु भयो नि
हजुर राम्ररी पुगे उ चाहिँ मेरो कलेजको बेस्ट फ्रेन्ड
नमस्ते भाउजू
नमस्ते आउनु न भित्रै
हुन्छ भाउजू
अनि दादा त अफिस गइसक्नु भयो होला है
उहाँ त बिहानै हो हुन्छ तपाईहरु फ्रेस हुँदै गर्नु न म खाना तयार गर्दै गर्छु है
हस् हस् भाउजू
ओए वाइफाई होला नि पासवर्ड माग्न
हे त पनि एनटीसी को सस्तो डे प्याक छदैछ नि
ए हो र
एनटीसी को डे प्याक लिन *1415# डायल गर्न
Nepal Telecom राष्ट्रको संचार.
You're listening to Radio Nepal's 8 a.m. English News Bulletin. Now on to some international updates. At least 37 people have been injured after an explosion in a building in France's capital, Paris. According to the city authorities, the condition of 4 among the injured is serious. 2 people have gone missing after the explosion and the rescue effort is ongoing to find the missing. The primary investigation has shown that the explosion happened from inside the building. The city authority have said that how and why the explosion happened would only be determined after a full investigation. At least 41 people have been killed in a riot at a women's prison in Central American country Honduras. According to the BBC, it is understood that a fight broke out between rival gangs, after which one gang set a cell alight. The BBC cited local officials as saying most of those who died were killed in the fire, but others were shot, stabbed, or beaten to death. Now, the general weather forecast for the country for today. According to the Meteorological Forecasting Division, the weather will be partly to generally cloudy throughout the country. Light to moderate rain with thunder and lightning is likely to occur at some places of Kosi Province, Madhes Province, Bagmati Province, Gandaki Province, and Lumbini Province, and at 1 or 2 places of the rest of the country. There are also chances of heavy rainfall at a few places of Kosi Province and at 1 or 2 places of Madhes Province and Gandaki Province. With this, we have almost come to the end of this news bulletin, but before wrapping up, let's have a reminder of the headlines once again. Government approves action plan designed for implementing bilateral labour agreement reached between Nepal and the United Kingdom. Deputy Prime Minister Naren Kaji Shrestha says no stones have been left unturned for rescue and relief of monsoon-induced disaster victims. lawmakers stress formulation of laws for implementation of fundamental rights. And at least 41 people killed in a riot at a women's prison in Central American country Honduras. Well, that's all the news we have for this bulletin. Our next bulletin in English will be at 2 in the afternoon. You can also listen to us online at our website www.onlineradionepal.gov.np. Keep listening to Radio Nepal and have a good day.